Have you ever woke up perfectly timed, just seconds before your alarm goes off, and realized your body has completely memorized the schedule of your life?
Yeah, that really unsettling moment.
Exactly. You just lie there in the dark, perfectly still, looking at the ceiling, and you know exactly how the next 16 hours are going to play out.
Every single footstep, every email, every conversation.
Right. It's as if even your sleep has been trained to stay within the boundaries of your schedule.
It is a profoundly common experience, honestly. And yet when you stop and actually examine the mechanics of it, it's deeply disturbing.
It really is.
That realization that your biology is in absolute sync with the spreadsheet, that's the first crack in the facade.
And that feeling, that exact feeling, is our starting point today. We're doing a deep dive into how to escape the illusion by Nomade. Specifically, we're focusing on a section called the orbit.
Which is such a fitting title for it.
It really is.
Yeah.
And our mission today is to understand how a life becomes invisible to itself. I want to set a strictly philosophical, direct, and honest tone right out of the gate here.
Right. We aren't here to offer life hacks.
No 5 ways to optimize your morning routine. There is no motivational framing today. We are going to examine the routine that isn't hostile, but simply full.
The days that look exactly like the ones before them.
Exactly. And the quiet comfort of not having to decide. But before we look at the specifics of your morning routine, we need to establish the framework of this deep dive by looking at a fish.
Right. The fishbowl metaphor from the prologue, it's so foundational to everything we're going to talk about.
So imagine a fish born in a glass bowl. It lives there. Every single day it circles the exact same glass and it calls that glass home.
Because the ocean isn't a concept it can even formulate.
Right. For this fish, the bowl is the entire universe. The walls are completely invisible, and tomorrow looks exactly like today.
And from the inside of that bowl, you have to understand there is absolutely nothing to escape. Because from the inside, there is nothing else.
Okay, let's unpack this for a second. It's like when you've lived in a city for so long that you stop seeing the buildings. They aren't architecture anymore. They're just the environment.
Yeah.
You don't look up at the skyscrapers. They're just wallpaper.
Yeah.
So is the real danger here that the bowl isn't a torture chamber? Like, it's actually quite comfortable.
What's fascinating here is that the source text explicitly emphasizes the warm water. The lack of hostility is exactly what makes the illusion so complete.
Or warm water.
Yes. If the water were boiling or freezing or toxic, the fish would realize it was trapped, It would try to jump out.
It would panic.
Exactly. But the warm water creates this deep, profound comfort. The boundaries are set. Expectations are clear. The fish learns what is realistic. It learns what fish like them do and what they never do. They just stop looking beyond the glass.
It's the deep comfort of not having to make a decision.
Exactly.
So how does that warm water manifest in our daily human lives? Because I think it starts the second we open our eyes.
It absolutely does. The text walks us through this perfectly automated morning current.
The alarm that no longer startles you.
Right. Your heart rate doesn't even jump anymore. And in the dark, your hand finds the phone without even searching for it.
Because your brain has mapped the exact spatial coordinates of that nightstand.
Exactly. You swing your legs out of bed, the floorboards are cool, the air in the hallway is the exact same temperature it was yesterday.
It's just entirely frictionless.
And then you get to the kitchen, and this is the part I love. The text describes making coffee in exactly 2 movements.
In movements.
Yes. Your hands complete the physical task entirely on their own. And because your physical body has fully automated this process, your mind is free to just leave.
It leaves the body.
It does. It starts running a quiet inventory of the day ahead. You're standing at the window, drinking the coffee, watching the street do what it always does, but you aren't really there.
Right. You're already at the office.
Mentally, you are already in transit.
And physically, you join the transit, the commute. You know exactly where to stand on the train platform. You know the step that creaks. You know the door that always sticks.
And you step onto that train with 100 other people.
And nobody makes eye contact.
No, because they are all part of this current. Their minds have left before their bodies arrived. Eye contact requires presence. It demands a break in the routine. A current doesn't require connection. It just requires movement.
Wait, I have to challenge this framing though. Are we confusing competence with just being asleep?
How do you mean?
Well, we are so conditioned to praise this kind of automaticity. We call it efficiency, right? I mean, our fingers type responses before we even finish reading the emails, and we get praised for inbox 0. If I had to consciously think about every single step of making coffee and navigating the subway, I'd be exhausted by 10 in the morning.
It's a fair point, but the text notes the absolute tragedy of the mind checking out before the body arrives.
The tragedy of it.
Yes. Because yes, the commute is just physical logistics. But look at what happens when you get to that inbox. You are instantly engaging in, and this is a quote, the careful bureaucratic language of people managing the appearance of progress.
Managing the appearance of progress?
Right. The routine runs on autopilot, precisely so. The underlying reality of it never has to be questioned. You type the email response without thinking, because if you actually stop to think about it, you might realize the email is completely meaningless.
So the efficiency is actually a defense mechanism.
Entirely.
We arrive at the office, already partly checked out, protected by the warm water. But what happens when we are forced to sit still and the outside world suddenly cuts through that wallpaper?
This is where the text breaks down the office meeting scene. It is such a brilliant distillation of this whole concept.
Paint the picture for us.
So you're sitting at a rectangular table, 12 people in the room, and on the screen, there's a graph.
And the line on the graph is moving gently upward.
Of course it is. And the presenter is speaking with this very calm authority. They've given this exact presentation so many times that they have literally stopped needing to mean it.
They're just reciting the script.
Exactly. And everyone in the room is nodding. They are speaking the room's language of what is realistic.
There's that word again. Realistic.
Right. It defines the walls of the bowl. But then there's a moment of friction.
The bird.
The bird. You happen to look out the window past the projector screen, and you see a bird cut across the sky.
Just clean, purposeless movement.
Yes. And in that fraction of a second, just for a moment, a genuine thought surfaces in your mind. Something completely outside the parameters of the graph and the air conditioning.
But it's so fast. It's there and gone almost before you can even register it.
Because what happens next? The slide on the projector clicks to the next one. The light in the room shifts, just slightly.
And the thought dissolves.
It just dissolves back into the quiet hum of agreement in the room. The pattern remains completely intact.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting to me. Because it's like, you know when you wake up from a really vivid dream?
Oh, yeah.
And you try to hold on to it, but the mere sound of your partner shifting in bed or a car driving by outside just blows it away entirely. It just vanishes. But I want to push back on this idea of the room absorbing the thought.
Okay, what's your read on it?
Is it really the room's fault? Or are we just, and I don't mean this harshly, but are we just cowards? Blaming the hum of the air conditioning feels like we're letting ourselves off the hook. We blame the PowerPoint transition instead of admitting we are terrified to speak up and say, why are we looking at this graph?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture the author is painting, it's not about malice. The room doesn't crush your thought maliciously.
So what does it do?
It absorbs it with the hum of 12 people mutually agreeing to keep things exactly where they are.
Mutually agreeing to stay in the warm water.
Yes. Because that upward line on the graph, that is safe, it's manageable, it's in stark contrast to the purposeless freedom of the bird outside.
Which is totally uncontrolled.
Right. And to protect you from the terrifying reality of that freedom, an internal protective mechanism kicks in.
The text calls this the voice, right?
Yes, the voice. It's this internal bouncer. The voice tells you that the bird is irrelevant. It tells you to focus on the metric, to nod along with the presenter, to stay within the bounds of what is realistic.
It protects you from realizing you're in a cage.
Exactly. It enforces the illusion so you don't have to face the cognitive dissonance.
Wow. Okay, so we survive the meeting. The thought of the bird is successfully suppressed by the voice. We coast through the rest of the day on that same frictionless highway, and then we head back to our personal space.
We head home.
Surely, when we're off the clock, the orbit breaks, right? I mean, our homes are our sanctuaries.
You would think so. But the text describes the evening descent as simply the morning in reverse.
The morning in reverse.
Yeah. The keys hit the tray by the door. That's the ceremonial signal that the day is officially over. But the automaticity doesn't stop.
You just move into a different routine.
Right. You make the functional dinner, cooked with the exact same economy of motion as the two-movement coffee.
And then the conversation with your partner. This part really hit me.
It's incredibly revealing.
You sit down and it's just this perfectly safe script. How was your day? Fine. Busy. You stay on logistics and the weather.
So what does this all mean, keeping it so surface level? Why do we do that?
It's like keeping a conversation strictly to the shallow end of the pool. Because admitting you want to swim in the deep end means you'd have to explain why you aren't doing it.
Right.
Speaking the truth would mean naming how little of the day was actually worth describing.
That is exactly it. You would have to justify your own paralysis to the person sitting across from you. Which brings us to the most crucial rule of the evening orbit.
You do not talk about the bird.
You do not talk about the bird.
Because if you bring up the bird, if you bring up that brief moment of purposeless freedom, you invite the outside of the bowl into your dining room.
You shatter the shared agreement that being busy and fine is enough.
So the voice keeps you quiet, the dinner finishes, and then we enter what the text calls the final orbit.
The couch.
The couch. The TV is playing, but it's not even a show you're watching. It's just mere texture. It's just light and noise to fill the room.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, your thumb is doing what it does best.
Scrolling the phone.
Just endlessly scrolling.
And this raises an important question about how the algorithm functions in this orbit. Because the algorithm feeds the restlessness just enough to keep you moving without you ever actually arriving anywhere.
It's like a treadmill for your brain.
Exactly. It operates on variable ratio reinforcement. It gives you just enough novelty, just enough dopamine to keep your thumb moving upward.
Which perfectly mirrors the upward line on the graph from the morning meeting.
That's a brilliant connection. Yes, it's just more safe, predictable progress that goes absolutely nowhere. It occupies the exact amount of mental bandwidth necessary to prevent any uncomfortable thoughts from bubbling up.
But eventually, the scrolling has to stop. The body literally can't stay awake forever.
Right, the TV gets turned off, the phone drops from your hand.
And the room finally goes completely dark and quiet.
And right there, right in that unguarded moment between waking and sleep, that is when the warm water is at its shallowest.
When all the digital texture is gone.
Yes. When the algorithmic scrolling stops, something quieter surfaces. It is the question that has been waiting underneath the whole day.
The question you've been avoiding since you made that 2-movement coffee.
Exactly. It's the question the voice has been fighting to suppress. But before you actually have to answer it, before you have to confront the reality of the wall, sleep arrives.
Sleep arrives first.
It arrives and it completely resets the loop.
Wiping the slate clean for the exact same identical morning to follow, the alarm is going to go off again and you're going to reach for the phone in the dark.
And the orbit continues.
So to synthesize all of this, what we've uncovered in this deep dive is that the orbit isn't a cage of iron. If it were a cage of iron, we would rattle the bars, we would fight it.
Right, it's a cage of warm water.
It's the 2-movement coffee. It's the safe graph in the air-conditioned room. It's the unspoken agreement with your partner and the unmentioned bird.
It is the terrifying reality of how a life becomes completely invisible to itself, not through disaster, but through sheer competent repetition.
Sheer competent repetition. We're literally optimizing ourselves into invisibility.
We really are.
Which leaves us with a final thought to mull over today. Building on everything we've discussed from the sources, I want you to think about your own morning.
Think about that alarm clock.
Yeah. If your daily routine isn't hostile, but simply full, if it's moving fast enough and loud enough that the truth never actually has to land, you have to ask yourself, what exactly is your schedule trying so desperately to keep out?